Previously, I fixed an issue with the loaded chamber indicator on my French 1935A pistol, though a careful look at the range footage showed that it was not working properly a few times. Now, I'm ready to get a larger sample size. I have 50 rounds loaded and ready to shoot. That's a failure to extract. You can see the case still within the chamber. I'll clear the malfunction, then finish off the last round. First shot in a fresh magazine. Another failure to extract. The case is still in the chamber. Again, I'll clear and get it reloaded. I'm sensing a pattern here. I haven't even fired 10 rounds, and there's already 3 failure to extracts. Ugh. I have 2 rounds left. Please let me at least finish these off. This time it's the loaded chamber indicator. The lever is down, and the slide isn't all the way forward. Take 2. All I want to do is to get through these last 2 rounds. That's the indicator again. I went back and counted. That's 11 total shots and 5 malfunctions. 2 times it was the loaded chamber indicator, which I knew going in was an issue. It's the 3 failure to extracts that are new. I'll get the pistol disassembled down to the slide, so I can get a closer look at what's going on at the breech face. As in the last video, the loaded chamber indicator is allowing rounds to slip ahead of it. This shelf here is supposed to be pushed up by the rim of a cartridge upon chambering, but as you can see, it's very small. Instead, the indicator acts as a ramp and pushes the cartridges off of the breech face. As for the extractor, the claw is there, but it looks to be worn. This part right here, which is hard to see, but we can take a better look once it's out. These 2 issues could very well be connected. If the pistol was shot a lot with the loaded chamber indicator not working as it's supposed to, and the case is sitting off of the breech face, that could put more wear onto the extractor. Or, it could be that this pistol was shot a lot with 32 ACP. I've heard of that being a simple solution to people wanting to shoot these pistols in the absence of the correct ammo. It needs to be single loaded, which can put wear onto the extractor, and presumably the loaded chamber indicator. To remove these parts, I'll get the slide over to the vise. It doesn't need to be held very tightly, just snug. I'll start by driving out the pin holding the loaded chamber indicator. Then remove the components, the indicator arm, and the spring. I'll set these off to the side for now. Now to remove the extractor. The pin is vertical in the slide, on the top here, though I think it makes the most sense to drive it out from the inside of the slide. Despite these pins being tiny, the indicator pin came out much easier than expected. Maybe this one will too. Well, as luck would have it, no, it's not budging at all. Before banging on this anymore and breaking a punch, I took an already broken punch and ground it down to this shape, with just a short section at the end, the size of the pin. That got it started. Now I can switch back to the standard punch to drive it the rest of the way out. That seems to have done the job. Looking at the pin, you can see why it was such a pain. There's these tiny grooves in the end that serve to hold it tight in place. But with the pin out, the extractor is free to be pushed out the side of the slide. It works just like the loaded chamber indicator. The extractor is the arm that pivots on a pin, and then there's a tiny spring in the slide on the other side of the pivot. Like I said earlier, the extractor looks to be worn. Looking at it from this angle, there's barely a hook for the claw. Luckily, Jack's First makes replacement extractors for the 1935A. The website said it may require some fitting, but right away you can see the difference between the old claw and the new one, much more prominent. You can really see the wear on the old extractor as I roll it over to the other side. Compared to the new one, with its freshly machined and squared off faces. This may be where it needs to be fit, but we'll see on that. To see if this needs to be fit to the slide, I'll get it temporarily installed. I'll use the shank of a drill bit a few thousandths below the diameter of the pin to hold it together. It's through the extractor, but it's fighting me to get all the way through the slide. It doesn't seem to be binding, but the fit of it does look tight around the claw. Let's get a better look at it pivoting. I should have seen that coming, but I need to remove the extractor anyway. I'll file some material away on this corner here, and maybe a little bit here as well. I'm being very deliberate with the file, removing just a small amount of material with each careful pass. This is the top corner, where I'm rounding it off just slightly. The bottom corner is where I'll remove more material. Not much, but enough for a bit more clearance against the cutout in the slide. That's all I likely need to file. I'll test fit the extractor in the slide once again. Wrong pinhole. And of course it's giving me trouble once again. There it is. It's not a perfect match to the cutout in the slide, but there looks to be enough clearance all around. This time, I'll hold the drill bit so it won't drop free. Here's a good look at it pivoting. I'll give it a quick test with a dummy round. It's tough to get it in there, but it does fit against the breech face, and the claw is over the rim. Next, I'll install the extractor for good. With the pin driving in from the top, I'll flip the slide over. Hopefully this will serve to hold the extractor in place. You can't see it, but it moved. Hopefully this pin is easier to install than the temporary drill bit was. Instead of using a hammer to drive this in, I'll turn the slide over so that I can span the jaws of these pliers wrenches across the bottom of the slide rails. This allows me to press in the pin while also being able to feel that it's progressing as it should. Thankfully, getting everything aligned doesn't seem to have been an issue. That's as far as I can press in the pin with these. I'll finish up with the punch. And that's perfect. It went in a lot easier than it came out. With the extractor installed, I'll shift gears to the loaded chamber indicator. I'll temporarily install it just like before, with a drill bit just under the size of the pin. Unlike most pictures of 1935As I see online, the loaded chamber indicator isn't flush to the top of the slide. It's sticking up at the back and below flush at the front. Note how at the front here, it's tight against the slide. Then as it's pivoted back, a gap opens. It's also loose on the pin, as if the central hole is drilled oversized. I'll flip it over to take a look inside. The front gap and the loose fit on the pin are both likely causing the issues seen previously. There's just not enough of a shelf for the cartridges to push. If only there was some way to prop it open partially. That would create a larger shelf and make it much more reliable. But after thinking it over the past few weeks, I think I know exactly what to do with the loaded chamber indicator. And that's this. I just don't think I can make it work. That's for two reasons. The first one you may have noticed already. Putting the drill bit back in shows how far off the hole for the pin drilled through the slide is. I can't imagine all of these look like this, but this is likely the reason for the oversized hole in the indicator arm, so that it can remain straight and pivot on a pin that's set on an angle. Second is that the arm is too short. And with how short it is, yes, I fished it out of the trash, that leaves little room for error. Imagine the line on the left is the front of the cutout in the slide, and the line below is the breech face. The front of the indicator needs to travel on an arc around its pivot point. The arc is more curved because of how short it is. When pivoted up, it touches the front of the cutout. When down, it doesn't leave enough of a shelf for the round to push up on. It's simply a poor design. The indicator arm should be much longer. It is on the 1935S. The missing loaded chamber indicator shouldn't have any impact on how well this shoots. In fact, it's one less variable to worry about. Let's get this reassembled. That's the 1935A back together. With the loaded chamber indicator missing, I'll only be testing the new extractor. I'll head back to the range with the rest of the ammo that it didn't make it through earlier. Let's see how well the new extractor works. The extractor worked very well, without a failure at all. Similarly, the removal of the loaded chamber indicator was a good idea. Without it, there's no worry of it stopping the slide from going fully into battery. Those two modifications have made this French 1935A a reliable shooter. Thanks for watching.